Hello, Soul Surfers. How are you doing today? Soul Surfer Dave here, coming for you, for you, for you. This is all for you. And we're talking about true forgiveness today. And it has allowed me to succeed in my lifelong passion to live more as my soul. It's from A Course in Miracles, which is not exactly an easy course to understand. And that's why I felt guided to explore it from a different point of view, from a book called Disappearance of the Universe. And it breaks down, explains what A Course in Miracles is about from the perspective of two ascended masters. So that's a whole nother topic. But the true forgiveness that it has in its overall philosophy releases the deepest core level wounds, beliefs, and trauma that we have experienced. And so I wanted to share it with you. And first, some contexts. The true forgiveness technique is 3 simple steps, but I'm going to give you an overview so you can use those steps to the best of your advantage. And the true forgiveness technique is something that's it's really actually true forgiveness. It's not the kind that says you did something wrong, you need to be forgiven. That's kind of ego's brand of forgiveness. It's the kind that says you've been innocent forever and will always be innocent. Because some of the things that have happened here in this world, in this dreamlike nature, in the illusions of our beliefs, are just that. They're illusions. So I will do a talk on illusions from A Course in Miracles, and that is very enlightening. You have to look at them in order to dispel them. And there's a lot of illusions we have about ourselves. So the true forgiveness goes to the core of this deep wound. And the wound we have, the belief we have, the main problem is we believe we're separate from spirit, from God, from all that is. We aren't, but we feel this separation. And feel free to write a comment. I'm going to write a test comment here. If you have any questions about anything, just feel free to ask it anytime. Either the replay or the live. So this belief in separation caused a lot of other false beliefs and negative states of being. And if you think about it, a parent and a child, and let's say this child is running around and playing in this setting in a gathering, and the child kind of loses track of the parent and thinks it's lost from the parent. But the parent is keeping an eye on the child and knows it's perfectly safe. But the child, for a moment, believes, oh my God, I've lost my parent. My source is gone. Who's going to take care of me? Who's going to provide for me? You can imagine that child going through all kinds of different things. Fear, guilt, pain, just all kinds of things. So that's kind of the situation we're in. We believe we separated. We don't have a source. And if you think about it, it makes sense. We go after all these things to try to fulfill that void. Because if something doesn't have a source, you work frantically to try to fill that void and connect to that source. Unfortunately, we use a lot of things that aren't source, but that make us feel good anyway. Some examples are, alcohol, drugs, sex, relationships, coffee, cigarettes, substances, falling in love. All these things are substitutes for our real source. Now, these things are perfectly awesome and okay and great to manifest and experience in this world. But when they become your source, then you're in trouble. And the reason is quite obvious. Everything changes in this world. The shifting sands always change and transform. So how can you really count on anything or anybody in this world? Yes, you can count on people, but what happens if something happens between you two, or they pass and leave their body and die? You know, it's shifting, right? Nothing's for certain. But there is, of course, spirit and your soul, who are eternal, who are constant, who don't waver and change and modify. They're always there for you. It's always constant. And that's one amazing thing that I experienced when feeling my soul, right? I can connect to my soul anytime I want. I do not live there 24/7. I wish I did. That's what I'm working towards. But I have my challenges, I have my stuff, I have my distractions. But I've spent a lot of time and effort being able to connect to that juicy aliveness anytime I want. And it's amazing. It's beyond words. It's a love, a joy, a fun, a prosperity, just all positive qualities rolled up into one isness that you just have to experience to get it. And that's what I want for you. That's what my mission is. That's my purpose. We all know about our soul. Most of us do have an awareness of our soul. But if we're not able to connect to it and feel it anytime we want, then it's kind of a waste of resources. It's a waste of who we are. It's not taking advantage of, it's not experiencing who we're meant to be by birthright. So anyway, back to forgiveness. The forgiveness is about releasing those beliefs, especially the belief in separation and the guilt that it caused, so you can experience your soul more, right? We already are this perfect soul. I fully have felt that and believe that with all my heart from experience. It's a perfection that, like I said, must be experienced. And so if we're already this, then what our task is really to remove the blocks, traumas, negative, false beliefs that stand in the way of experiencing that truth of who we are. It's not about becoming who we are. It's about cleansing ourselves and healing ourselves and ridding ourselves of what's in the way. So we believe in this ego's existence and in our ego so deeply, we need help. We need help releasing this guilt that this separation caused, this belief in separation caused. Because just like in a court of law, if you believe you're guilty, you're going to punish and sabotage yourself. I fully believe with all my heart that spirit never punishes us. That would be an insane, maniacal deity and spirit, right? That'd be a pretty dismal parent. So that leaves us. We do it to ourselves. And that is extremely good news, because we can change our minds about that. And if it was a god or a deity or, a being doing it to us, we would be trapped. It would be the way it is. But the spirit is benevolent, is loving, and just wants the best for us. So the guilt, going back to the guilt. If we're punishing and sabotaging ourselves, then it's up to us to participate in that awakening and participate in the releasing of that. And those are the first two steps of the forgiveness technique, which we're going to go over in a minute. The third step is taken by your higher power. The Course calls it Holy Spirit, your soul. All that is the part of you that remembers who you are and also realizes you've got some serious false beliefs where you actually believe some of the things you believe about yourself. So it kind of has a foot in both worlds, the reality of who you are versus who you believe you are. So the first step in this process is to realize that you created it. Whatever the upset. Let me backtrack a minute. I apologize. You use this true forgiveness on anything that upsets you, whether it's triggered by another person or the world. And that upset is coming up so it can be released. It's like a volcano. Oh, there's a sign that there's something going on under there. And anger, actually, volcano is a good symbol because of anger, right? Fiery volcano anger. We all have that deep inside. We may have suppressed it very well, but it comes out. And when it comes out, we tend to blame the world or the other person for making us mad or for making us feel guilty. So we can either do two basic things with this: blame and keep blaming the world and other people, or look at it as a mirror showing us what's inside of ourselves. Obviously, the second is the much wiser choice. And that's actually how we become aware of what's in our subconscious, right? The nature of the subconscious is kind of a problem. How do you know what you don't know? It's subconscious. It's below your awareness. Well, fortunately, it's set up to where the world and other people show you daily what's inside. Okay? You don't have enough money that you'd like? Belief inside. You don't have the relationship you want? It's a belief inside. So if there's a belief inside of you, it's going to show up in the world in some way, right? So let's say you get cut off in traffic, from a driver, and you get upset or angry. That anger was already inside of you, but this situation brought it up to make you aware of it. Now you can release it. Or keep it blaming the other person and keeping it stuck inside yourself. So use the true forgiveness when anything upsets you, and it could be a memory of something that still bothers you. It could be something fresh. It could be large or small. It's all releasing the same guilt and the same belief in separation each time you use it. And each time you use it, you may not feel a shift right away or consciously, but it's like that deep iceberg underneath the ocean. It melts away those layers, and it's so big you don't even really feel it consciously at first. You're like, oh, I don't know if anything changed, but below the surface, it's melting away until sooner or later, usually sooner, one day you wake up after using this for a short time and you're like, wow, something's definitely different. There's a fundamental different shift. Something's gone that was there before. Maybe it's a heaviness, a fear, a doubt, I don't know what, but it's definitely noticeable. So keep it up, keep using it, and test it out and see what you think. Test it out. Now remember, another part of this is the ego will resist this. It will resist you undoing it. Remember, the ego is a false belief that you separated from spirit. So you will resist you. You as ego will resist you as soul. Soul is all-encompassing love and just loves your ego. It doesn't invite conflict. It simply turns on the light and the love, and ego is dispelled. Now, I wish it were that quick and easy, but to wake up to the different reality that we can experience would be way too much too fast. So we wake up at our soul's pace. So the first step in this true forgiveness process is to take responsibility. Let's say it's another person, and say, I created this. I'm dreaming this even. The Course even says I'm dreaming it. This isn't even real. This person is way beyond a body. This body is a temporary thing. So whatever upset me is the illusionary thing. It's something I believe about him or her, and something I believe about me and or the world. That's what's causing me the suffering. My beliefs. I don't have a source. So, and I feel guilty because of it. So I'm going to punish myself and sabotage myself unknowingly in a lot of different ways. So I apologize. I rambled for that first step. Let's keep it short and simple. Is that I created this situation between this person and I. Okay. The second step, I forgive myself and the other person for believing this illusion. Let's say anger, fear, whatever the upset is, name it. The third step, I choose Holy Spirit or my soul or God or spirit, whatever you want to use, instead of my ego's false beliefs or instead of my ego. If you want to keep it super simple, right? And those first two steps require your participation. The third one does not. The Holy Spirit, your soul knows what to do. You've set it up, given your permission. You're choosing spirit instead of ego as the driver of your life. Okay? Long ago, we made the choice for ego. So that's why we've been living in ego for so long. We're asking to choose again. We are asking ourselves to choose again. So, to recap, the Course puts it to identify the cause, step 1, the belief in separation. Step 2, be willing to release and replace that belief. Step 3, have it replaced. Be willing to replace it and just have it replaced. So again, the first step, identify the core cause, the belief in separation. 2, be willing to release it. 3, be willing to have it replaced. And that's choosing your soul over ego. So it's that simple. It's that simple. So in real term, I'm going to do a demonstration for what it might look like in real life, with your own words. And you can use your own words as long as you get the concept. So let's say, let's use driving, since driving tends to trigger a lot of people, myself included. Say this person cuts you off or does something that upsets you. And in the beginning, and even for a while, oftentimes it's hard to catch this and do the true forgiveness technique when you are emotional, when the upset is actually happening. So after you've calmed down, take some breaths, whatever you do after you calm down, say, I forgive that person and myself for believing in this separation. Step 2, I'm willing to release this belief. Step 3, I choose my soul instead of ego. Okay, and the rest is done by the powerful you that is outside time and space. Okay, so I hope this helps. Test this out, practice it. Ask me any questions about it that you might have. All right, so this has really moved and released and healed more in my personal life. I've been sober over 9 years now, when the previous 20 odd years were, really rough, let's just say. And for my clients as well, it's something about it. It's ahead of its time. So thank you for being here on this channel. Please share it if you'd like. I'm being called to serve more people. If it resonates with you, it helps you, please share it. And I'll see you next time. Take care.